not normal right now because I am not
Hey
in
guys,
natural growth.
Heidi is
I
on with
am
somebody
here
else,
at
so I'm
Hen
gonna
Chicks in Conrad
get
with
her
Heidi Heisland.
on an
She
interview
is,
so you can join in.
one of my favorite people ever. I follow her.
And you the same.
She's got the best store here in Conrad. Number one, it's a fabric store. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But not only that, she's just really creative. I love your disposition towards life in general. And I'm wearing one of her Choose Happy sweatshirts because that's her motto, and I absolutely love it.
It is. I think we're so lucky, first of all, to have you here, Natalie. So thank you for coming to Hen and Chick Studio.
Welcome.
Love it, love it. And let me just say that my girls were quite jealous that you were coming today. I'm like, I know, but it's okay. We'll have treats. But Choose Happy is something that I believe strongly in. I think anybody that talks to me for very long knows that I am blessed, and I feel so lucky to be able to help people be creative every day. And I wake up with that mindset. I am choosing happy today. It doesn't mean that I don't get upset. It doesn't mean that I don't have a bad day. But when I stop and I think about what's going on, I get to choose. I get to choose if I'm going to be happy or not, and I choose happy.
I love that because there are times that you just want to go down a rabbit hole in your head.
Oh,
you?
absolutely. Absolutely.
You just have to stop it, and it's all about mindset. In fact, right before I got here, I put a post on Natural Grind about that. So I have an event this Sunday where we can just kind of take time for ourselves and meditate and listen to some great music. But that's really what it's about. It's like changing your mindset and choosing to see the bright side of things.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to tell you, obviously, Jamie was at your business at Natural Grind in Grundy a couple weeks ago, and you mentioned the High Five Habit by Mel Robbins.
Yep.
Okay, I have not only read the High Five Habit by Mel Robbins, I'm doing it, and I also have read her book, The 5-Second Rule. Both great motivational books. Simple reminders every day about how a simple action can make our minds think differently and do things differently, and it's a great way to live. I love that.
Mel Robbins is wonderful. I highly recommend those books. In Grundy Center yesterday, the Headliner Salon, her two little kids, Brittany's two little kids, were outside giving high fives for $5, raising money. I thought it was so fun. And I said, do you know that there's science behind this high five?
Yeah.
And she said, no, I'm going to read this book. And she thought it was silly that her kids were doing it. And I said, no, really, it's not.
No, it's totally, and it's been great. And I know you'll understand this. Since my girls play volleyball, your daughter plays volleyball.
This is our similarity.
Yes, we're volleyball moms. In the how a high five in a team situation, and it just shows that when you are supportive of your the people who are surrounding you, whether it's my staff or a team or people you meet on the street, but if you support them and you give them high fives and you celebrate that good things happen. You're right. It's good things happen.
You're right.
So
I always think of that volleyball pat on the butt. It's kind of like that because they're always like,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But anytime they can be supportive and stuff. So really good things.
So we are a lot alike in many ways. We're both women business owners in small towns. We invested a lot of our time and energy into these small businesses that we started in small towns. But you for sure expand like the United States and beyond. And I'm so I think that's so cool.
And if only you could bottle up your goodness and ship it. But my favorite smoothie bowl might not make it. My Hunky Monkey might not make it to a different different state. And so it is wonderful that we are able to go beyond the walls of our store and our community and go to other states. So we have a lot of fun with that here, being able to, as I like to say, spread creativity, coast to coast.
Yes, my daughter just created, Emerson, who you talked about, who plays volleyball at Wartburg. She just created some Natural Grind affirmation cards with her own affirmations, and so those will be available to ship anywhere. So those will soon be. I will be getting those printed. You'll be seeing them in other areas, maybe with some coffee drink areas as we move forward.
Yes.
So that will be fun.
Yes.
So anyway, this is all how we are the same, but we're a little bit different. You don't like coffee.
No, I don't. I'm so sorry. A college class ruined it for me, I'll just say. But I'm so sorry. No, I do not like coffee.
And I have never quilted. I did own a sewing machine. I think I still have that sewing machine somewhere. And I don't consider myself particularly crafty, but I do consider myself creative.
Oh, you're very creative.
So first of all, let's talk about like creative, because I would love to come in here and be creative, and let's just say I don't have a sewing machine, or I'm not like very talented in that area.
Oh.
What would you like suggest for someone like me?
Well, there are so many different ways to be creative, and I totally agree with you that, you know, not everybody has to own a sewing machine, and there are other things like doodling, drawing, journaling, scrapbooking, which are all things I love to do as well, painting. And, you know, we don't necessarily have the supplies for all of those things
here. Do you have
here.
the tie blanket stuff?
Oh,
like,
yes.
Because you wouldn't need a sewing machine for that way.
No, you do not need a sewing machine. And so we have what we call Cuddle. It can work for a tie blanket. It's a little bit different than fleece that is used a lot. But we also do a lot of hand stitching. And I personally love hand stitching.
I used to do cross stitch.
Oh, yeah. Same thing. We've got cross stitch patterns.
Well, there you go.
And we have all the DMC floss. And, of course, wool is a product, felted wool is a product that a lot of people use for hand stitching. And too bad my project is actually sitting upstairs in the retreat center. I should have brought it, I had it down. Another day. But I think there's for me, when I'm hand stitching, whether it's applique or wool stitching, it's like meditation. I get into a rhythm, and my brain, relaxes, and I love that part of it.
You're in the zone.
In the zone, absolutely.
When I'm creating at my desk, which is a lot of writing for me, creating like different, thinking of different classes, or not really thinking of them. I get excited, and I have so many ideas coming. I have to hone myself in a little bit sometimes. But when I like get in that zone where I'm like, I'm going to create this class, or I'm going to create this, or I'm going to create some new recipes, I'm in a tunnel vision, and that feels good to me. And you're right. Like, I think when we get into funks, then if I can find that creativity within me, I can get myself out of that funk.
Yep. And you know what I find is that if I'm in a funk, if I stop and think about it for very long, I haven't done something creative for a while. It's usually like I can think back and go, oh, you know what? It's been a couple of days since I stitched and it got to pull out my, or sometimes it's as simple as going in my sewing room and touching my things and picking them up and feeling like I know that there is something for me to do even in our busy schedule.
Yep.
But you'll chuckle that I'm the volleyball mom that if they're playing, I'm on the side of the court taking pictures.
Yeah.
And if they're not playing, I'm in the bleachers or in my chair stitching.
I love it.
And everybody knows that, in fact, I have a project I just finished. It's been several years of volleyball that it's all been hand stitched. And so I get
at a volleyball game.
I've been working on it.
Oh, and there's a lot of downtime in those tournaments. So that's perfect.
Yes. But it's the kind of thing where I'm more relaxed when I'm doing it. Yeah. It's all good.
Nope.
It's all good. So I would encourage some hand stitching for you.
Okay. I'm going to take you up on that. I have a, I don't remember, Jamie, if you purchased one of my Dragon Tree planners, but I know I showed it that day you did. So I'm out now, but I had some planners by a company out of Colorado, and they had a weekly plan, and so much of that weekly plan had creativity built into it. And I thought this was 5-6 years ago, and I thought, well, this is interesting. I've never had a planner saying play, get creative, and all the other stuff. But creativity is huge to them. So anyway, love that.
And when you have an opportunity to write things down, something that I recently heard between Mel Robbins and Brendan Burchard was that when you're writing and journaling, whatever that is, it's an opportunity to give real concreteness to your thoughts by writing them down and letting that creativity come out of your brain and putting it on paper. Whether it comes into an idea that it ends up being usable or not, that's a whole different thing. Right. But just being able to get that creativity out of your brain.
Get it out onto paper.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't do it as much as I should, but I certainly feel better after I do. So Now, because that, you know, you're not a coffee person, I did bring some treats for you
because
today.
we love you, and we love all the products at Natural Grind.
Oh,
and that's the thing, is you offer more than just coffee.
Oh, yeah.
So even if I'm not a coffee drinker, you've got energy drinks.
Yes.
You've got the Dragonfly energy drink.
Yep. And they're made with Lotus Energy Base, which is plant-based. So it's Natural Grind, Health Market and Cafe is my logo. So I try to mostly stay in the realm of healthy options, but we have cinnamon rolls and stuff like that too.
Yes.
And we've got a strawberry smoothie here, I believe.
Strawberry smoothie.
And then somebody requested one of our salads. So we have lunch items and salads. And
Yes,
things
and
like
it's
that.
so nice because you literally, I could come for breakfast, I could come for midday, afternoon snack, lunch, all of those things. So it's very exciting. Yes. Love that you have all those things there.
Well, I love coming to Conrad. And speaking of coming to Conrad, I'm coming to Conrad. Yes, like 6 or 7, five times in the summer. So twice in June. Let's see, the 6th and the 20th, and we'll be right out back at Pentex.
We're going to be in the backyard. You came a couple times last summer, and people loved it. So I'm going to be promoting it big time as we get a little bit closer. But yes, June 6th and 20th, July 11th and 25th. And August 8th. So basically every 2 weeks, and I believe they're all Mondays.
Yeah.
And that will be very exciting. In fact, and you'll chuckle at this, but we have a volleyball camp on June 20th. But I assured the girls that we could absolutely get Natural Grind to go
we'll
before we have to get to the volleyball camp.
Yes. And we offer a lot. We don't offer a lot of lunches on the bus, but we will take pre-orders for lunches, which I've done before. So anyway, we have all of our drinks and smoothie bowls and smoothies and energy drinks and coffees and all that.
Yeah,
so.
And it's such a treat. Such a treat. But
it's been fun.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for letting me come and see you today and have this conversation with my viewers, and I know you'll share it with your viewers. And I look forward to doing many, many more like this with you.
Well, I look forward to the same, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone.